Hello, I'm AppyX Toy Cat, and welcome back to an episode of the Minecraft Bedrock Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the weekly update as to what's been going on in both the survival world, life, the universe, and everything in between. And today, I wanted to talk about accomplishments that you should be going for in Minecraft, because a lot of people want to go for something in Minecraft. They want to have some grand, thing to work towards, but they're not precisely sure what. And today, I wanted to suggest that one of the most basic things you can do is simply collect, say, a chest full of something. There's literally an achievement that Minecraft builds into the game, encouraging you to do precisely this, because collecting a chest full of anything is always going to be kind of cool. I mean, a chest full of sand or clay, a chest full of endstone, a chest full of dirt. There's like some accomplishment in collecting enough of something to fill up an entire chest. But another way that you can take that is you can try and collect one of a lot of different types of items and put them all in the same place. Because Minecraft is a game that has hugely expanded, since it first came out. There's no longer just 3 types of food anymore. There's no longer just, like one color of sheep or one type of mob. Collecting all of pretty much anything in Minecraft is genuinely a challenge that will push you to explore and go to different parts of Minecraft. Something which, we have, a few reasons to do in normal situations. And that's why, as a result, I'm going to be recommending in today's video an idea that isn't necessarily the best one as far as what should you be doing, but it is one that I totally am going to recommend, because if you are running out of things to do in your Minecraft world, I want to challenge all of you to try and collect one of every food. Because something that makes pretty much every video game fun or compelling is the idea of having these rewards, these accomplishments, this thing to show at the end when you're all done. One of the things that made the Xbox 360 so successful was the achievement system, the idea that there was some tangible benefit to playing these games for all of this time, and that's why I feel like inside of Minecraft, everyone has their own little versions of this. I feel really proud of, making the Death Star, the little giant semi-sphere in my Minecraft world. I feel proud in a weird way of my floating castle, my giant endstone cube, or even just my giant boat, which I don't do anything with. I mean, I just had a lake that I felt like was oddly sized and would be the perfect size for a giant boat, and so I did precisely that. Although I guess it's old size boats now. There's no handles coming out of that. So yeah, the point is even though things seem dumb on the surface, because everything seems dumb if you phrase it the wrong way, the truth is that today I'm going to be doing something that seems super dumb, but it's going to be something that is for the reasons of accomplishments, because I have a museum in my Let's Play world. This building right here, you might have seen it. It's got a few rough edges. It's even got a Elder Guardian inside of there, which makes it very annoying to go through for reasons that you're going to see if I try to break any block today, because fun fact, I basically can't. But yeah, as well as being just an annoying building to look at or go anywhere near, it's also my building where I've collected every single painting in Minecraft, or I did. I worry some of them blew up with the giant charged creeper explosion of a while ago. But then also, as well as that, as you can see over here, I've collected myself an Elder Guardian and a Charged Creeper, 2 of the larger mobs in Minecraft. Fun fact, can you work out why maybe a Charged Creeper exploded if I have a little exhibit over here that for some reason has these 2 mobs together? Basically, I even have actually one of Minecraft's other rarer mobs over here in my little dinosaur bone block exhibit, which, because I wanted to collect all the fossils, put them here, thought that was a dumb idea or a fun idea. Again, everything's dumb if you describe it in the wrong way, but I think it's cool to have these rare items all in one place, having a way to show off hours of something you did for something you enjoy. Someone can always phrase that as a bad idea, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily need to, and that's why today I'm going to be working on the museum. There's lots of holes in this museum we need to patch in, including this giant one right here, where, fun fact, as I mentioned, there was a giant charged creeper explosion, and it just destroyed so much, and yeah, as a result of that, we're going to be putting the museum back together in a slightly better way than before. I mean, I'll be honest, there is a certain ugliness to this. I mean, there's an ugliness to everything if you think about it, but there's a specific ugliness to this right here, and then this right here, which was meant to be the food exhibit, but as you can see has 1 enchanted golden apple, 1 regular apple, and then nothing else. Today, I'm going to be filling this with every single food in Minecraft, and today you get to join me along for the journey. And I say today a lot, I mean, it's going to be some future date by the time you watch this, statistically speaking, but in this video that you are watching on the internet, we are going to be fixing up the museum, making it level in ways that for some reason it wasn't before. Also, why is there a hole down there with a drowned in it? Guess we're going down, we're finding out, huh? I won't be able to get out, so let's hope it's only 1 drowned. But yeah, today I'm working on improving my world, and hopefully you find the journey to be fun too. Yep, there's just a hole filled with enemies below the museum. Why is this here? I don't know, but I guess I'm glad we worked this out. By the way, as a handy pro tip, whenever you find a cave underneath one of your builds, especially in Bedrock, I mean it's relevant everywhere, but especially here, what you want to do is you want to make sure you light it up. There's a lot of reasons for why you want to do this. Performance reasons is a big one. Did you see that? I could see through the water there. But performance reasons is one. Another reason is that it will prevent mobs from spawning elsewhere. If you want to kill a lot of creepers and there's a bunch hiding in your basement, you won't be able to. Basically, it's just always a good idea to light up these underground cavey areas, and we'll be doing more of that in the future. But just for now, know that it's kind of important because we're going to be covering that up. We're not going to know it's there. We might even forget, and having it lit up just means it's one less problem for us to deal with, at least at current spawning rules. If they add a rule where there's a mob that can spawn even when it's light, which I really hope they don't, but you know, Minecraft's an always evolving game, then that becomes a thing that, you know, we can deal with then. But for now, we assume that's not the case, and instead we work on the museum in all sorts of places. I mean, I've got a lot of dirt for over here, but also we need to fix this wreckage because I need the food exhibit to be something that makes any form of sense, and it does not right now. But yeah, what you can see, we got ourselves a bunch of wood, so let's start placing that. Something you can see I kind of had going on before and started to work on was the idea of having like 5 separate sections here. There was going to be like 5 pieces of god tier food over here. There was going to be like some, you know, pretty good food. There was going to be the really good food. There was going to be the, I guess it technically is food, and the, you know what, that you can eat this, but it's not very good. I want to kind of split up into 5 exhibits, but I feel like the way I did before with these big chunks here, it's not so conducive to a, you can see how this happened now, huh? It's not so conducive to a great showing off of all of this. So I think we'll remove all of these walls right here and just have it kind of like continuously flow around the edges. So let's do that now. So yeah, this whole museum concept is something I started a very, very long time ago in this world, and let's be honest, I don't think it fits any of the real life definitions of the word museum, but you know, something about like kind of shifting your goals and perspectives is something that is probably a good idea to do over time. Shifting your definition of what is good and value creation, you know, what is something you would like to do is something we all naturally do as humans over time, and you know, ensuring that you do that in Minecraft too sometimes, it's always a good idea. It's always, you know, it's also a good idea to stay in touch of what you enjoyed making before, because if your goals are changing every single moment, then it's obviously, you're going to always be dissatisfied because you know, you'll build things that at some point you'll come to dislike. But also realizing that Minecraft changes and your play style in Minecraft changes and you as a person are changing and evolving all the time is something that is always a good idea when you're working on precisely what you want to do around here. So that's just something I want to say. Hey, there is a spider in here somehow. I love that. That is great. But yeah, so like kind of, you know, admitting that your perspective changes is always a good idea in my opinion. Okay, so we got some blocks over here. For some reason, this wall is like 1 block too far forward. So yeah, you know, why is that the case? Why did I place that on the other side right there? In fact, I reckon it, yeah, it's a block too far in here too. I don't know why I even, there's a lot of confusing things that you'll learn sometimes. Because one of my favorite things about, like computer programming, because I did a whole course in computing. I'm not a good programmer. I want to clarify that a million times before I say anything else. But one of the things about programming that they drill into you a billion times, but that no one actually ever listens to, is the idea that, like, you know, you should have very clearly written code so that when someone else tries to work with it in the future, like comment on your code, explain what does what, so that when someone else comes into the future, they can understand what's going on. And everyone hears this and goes, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then everyone also hears this and does precisely not that, you know? It's one of my favorite things. Also, I think because I've got the Old Guardian here, and because the milk bucket thing no longer effectively works, we might have to literally sit here with our fortune, yeah, it doesn't even have efficiency on, with our super slow axe, and just sit here mining each individual block of wood. Okay, it's been quite a while, and I don't think this is a very viable strategy for removing all of the planks. I think if we get like an efficiency 4 or 5 axe, that might work fast enough. Maybe we also have to combine it with a beacon. Honestly, should we just build a beacon around here somewhere so we can just have the, you know, the mining fatigue be cancelled out? Because I know, like, I could just get rid of the Elder Guardian, bring it back another day, or I could do something with it. But, you know, I like having the Elder Guardian. There's something cool, even if ridiculous, about having that effect be just appearing here in the Minecraft world. It makes even breaking glass a chore, which, again, sounds mostly bad, but is actually kind of cool if you really think about it. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to just ignore that, and we're going to go get ourselves a better axe so we can actually focus on this. Because, yeah, like I was saying, one of the things that you first learn in programming is comment your code, because even if you don't intend to go back to it, someone else will, and it's going to be a pain for them. But my logic, also, we got ourselves another food item. We've got cooked pork chops, rotten flesh, and we got ourselves a cooked beef right now. So that's 3 more pieces of food out of the 30, I think, ish that exist in Minecraft. Apparently, it's exactly 40 if you include every single food source, so collecting all 40 seems pretty easy. No individual item is too hard, but doing it all together requires a kind of rounded out loadout. I mean, for instance, like finding cakes. Do I have any in here? Oh, I've got a golden apple in here, so that's one of the items. Finding them, even if you've collected them before in your world, it's kind of a fun little activity. It's like collecting everything together to make a little trophy point, because trophies are important. As is, by the way, making sure that what you do now is also what you want to be doing in the future. So keep that in mind. Because trophies are cool, but also what's cool is having a good idea of what you're going to like in the future. Also, we've already got apples there, which is nice. So I guess we'll also take some salmon. Yep, sure, why not? And now we got ourselves a bunch of food and an entirely full inventory, but we'll deal with that later. Okay, so I had a Silk Touch Efficiency 4 axe chilling over there. It's not the, it's not a very good axe for usual day-to-day, but maybe for this mining fatigue it'll be useful. But yeah, as you can see, even from this little blacksmith area, just having a couple of trophies, in this case a dragon head and a dragon egg, adds a lot to kind of anything. Having rare or hard to get, or something that just shows you put some effort in the past, is something that humans have this inherent attachment to, and again, we can argue that it's stupid, and you could definitely make a very strong case for that, but it also is something that people like to do in real life, that also makes a lot of sense here in Minecraft. So that's why we're using each of the food as a little bit of a collection, like a coin collection, a stamp collection, or one that actually makes some sense. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Let's knock down this wall before this happens. We made some progress there. That was nice, right? Oh lord. Okay, well, apparently not. But yeah, so also we need to light this place up. It is somehow spawning in mobs non-stop in here, which is why creeper explosions tend to happen. It's a big problem. But yeah, pro tip I would say is because shovels break blocks so fast, you can always like break things with a shovel, even when you can't do so with an axe. But yeah, let's try and make this more even than it is right now. Because right now, for some reason, it's like 2 blocks off to the left. So we'll make the same happen over here. 2 blocks off to the right, apparently. Sure. We have to remove all of this giant block. I'm going to try and find a milk bucket. I know it doesn't work, but I need to believe that it does for my sanity. Also, let's start putting all of our food types in this chest right here, shall we? Just so we can start knowing what we've got and what we don't have. A very important thing to see. So yeah, as you can see, we've now got 7 of the types of food, plus the enchanted golden apple. 8 out of 40, isn't that nice? Okay, so just to confirm, if we drink some milk from a cow, we can in fact remove the effect and it won't come back for a few seconds. And then we drink the milk again, and then we have another second until it comes back. So yeah, this used to work where you could drink milk and it would wait until the next like guardian cycle to give you a thing, but it seems as though they deliberately removed that, like they saw it as an exploit rather than a benefit. Personally, I feel like the guardian fatigue is meant to be an effect that's removable, like every other effect in Minecraft, but apparently Minecraft disagrees. So yeah, we're gonna be sat there breaking these blocks by hand. And I want you all to know that we went through all the steps we possibly could. And the pain that comes out on the other side is me, with even the fastest axe I can have, doing this to break some wooden blocks. It's like obsidian. This takes longer to mine than obsidian does with an efficiency pickaxe. I just want to mention how strong mining fatigue can be, and how strong I need to be to stand here and do this. Okay, new plan. Be really stealthy about this. Drink the milk and then sneak out. Yeah, there we go. Get as much done in the 3 seconds as we can with a milk. Might actually be the fastest way. If we can just get a cow here and use those 3 seconds, the best for our advantage. It is definitely a way to cheat the system. But you know, sometimes you gotta do things the slow way. And that's why today, welcome to the Let's Play, where really what we're doing is mining wood at incredibly slow speeds. But you know, there's a value in doing things slowly. It teaches you the value of sequencing. Like, I thought, you know, one day I collected the Elder Guardian thinking, yeah, that won't cause me any problems. I've already built the museum around it. But now that I have to destroy this to, like, you know, like destroy these wood blocks to get something else, I can't do that without either killing the Elder Guardian, undoing all the progress I made to get one there, or, alternatively, I have to sit here and go through all the pain. A really important, like, again, this is one of the hardest things that I've learned in, like, let's call it my professional life. My life where I have things to do that aren't just because some teacher tells you to do it and they swear it's important, but where you have things to do that, like, will affect your ability to survive in the world, because that's what, you know, being an adult is to some extent. And one of the things I've learned is, like, there is a big deal of sequencing that's very important. Like, doing one thing before you do another thing. And there's countless examples, you know, we can bring up. But basically, just knowing in what order to do things in your life can be pretty darn important. For instance, I don't know, here's an example. I got a new bathroom. Actually, wait, let me tell you the worst example. Like, one of my big mistakes that still haunts me the tiniest bit 4 years later, because I find dust everywhere. When I bought my house the first time, I had a friend who's like, yeah, I can help you work on a new bathroom. And so we worked together on a new bathroom. Like, I kind of learned some things, kind of helping him out. But all of my furniture, I'd moved into the house, like, all in boxes. Actually, no, we'd unpacked all the furniture. It wasn't in boxes, that was the key point. So it was all, like, laying downstairs. And then because, I guess my friend didn't know about, like, avoiding dust, he did something that created a huge amount of dust, like breaking tiles. So, like, dust was going into the air everywhere. Not only, you know, causing dust to go all over the things nearby, but the entire house was covered in, like, a thin layer of dust. And to this day, I find dust on things, like, random little corners, and I'm like, oh, that is the 4 year ago dust. And yeah, if I'd have just not done it in that order, things would be so much better. Honestly, this is one of the things about, like, living life, right? Your life is like a sequence of events that you need to get in the correct order. You know, like, I learned this from Sims, that, like, oh yeah, if you really need to use the bathroom, but also you really need to eat, work out which one you need to do more, because if you're on the bathroom and you starve to death, that's real bad. Or, like, you know, if you've got an hour before work, you know, prioritize which thing you need to do in your, you know, your day. Because, you know, if you miss work, that's bad. But also if you don't eat, that's bad. But also if you need to use the bathroom, that's bad. And for some reason in The Sims, it takes like an hour to use the bathroom, at least the version of the game I played. So yeah, like, oh my god. We maybe should just skip to the end of this. I feel like I'm gonna drive a few people mad with this insanity. Wait, if I speed this up, it'll look like I'm doing it at normal speed, right? See? Power of editing. Really cool thing. Okay, so I present to you the food room. It's a little rough around the edges, you know, let's just admit that freely right now. But once we carpet this thing area over, and once we try and pretend that these are a deliberate archway, which, you know, that's what that is. It's the archway between the bad and the good, question mark, maybe. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's turning into something that doesn't look like a weird cubey mess. And, you know, in Minecraft, isn't that all you can really ask for? And I guess the answer is no. But you know what? We're going to do it anyway. It's going to be nice. Now we just need to go get some item frames, which, pro tip, you know, all you need is a lot of leather. Where'd you get a lot of leather? A cow farm. So, also, yeah, I think we actually have, after we remove these blocks, officially finished it. So let's go do that, actually. So the plan here is quite simple, right? We're going to have the three best foods here in the center, starting with the enchanted golden apple. Then we'll have a golden apple and a golden carrot, the three kind of golden foods. Then we'll have, to the right of that, the two other foods, which are pretty god tier. I mean, you know, there's obviously the cooked, you know, pork chops and the cooked steak. But then there's also the rabbit stew, and way more importantly, the suspicious... No, not again! Why are all these mobs spawning? This is why sequencing is important. Today... It might seem like the most important thing is to get straight on with the food stuff, but I assure you, there are other things that must be taken care of. And man, I'm gonna enjoy doing precisely that. So yeah, this you know, this was meant to be my start of explaining my planning, but instead of explaining the planning right now, let's just go ahead and say, hey, did you know that lighting up your area before doing stuff like this is important, especially when you're working with super niche rare items? You do not want to lose an enchanted golden apple because of a, you know, I guess, like, let's call it like a creeper explosion, a freak event, something which is totally avoidable, which is why you gotta try your best not to do precisely that. So we're gonna make ourselves a bunch of white carpet to fix this over, and then also we're gonna make sure that mobs can't spawn anywhere else. I have a bunch of torches. I'm still working on the lighting up the world project, so that's a thing. You know, that is fortunate because it gives me access to a lot of carpet. Let's also break this. You know, just place that down there. So yeah, because I'm still working on that project, I do have myself a lot of torches. And let's just go around here and have a consistent way to light this whole thing up that isn't too ugly using just torches. I've lit this up so much everywhere, as you can see. I mean, in some places it's less well covering than others. But I feel like today we need to finally just kind of take this up a step and be like, yeah, actually, we should maybe, just maybe, fully cover it with torches. You're not all the way to the corners and stuff over here even. Because even though we're going to be filling this in with dirt, which actually, let's do that as well, the having an area be safe to work in is so important. And I can't believe today I'm working on a museum which exploded because of a creeper, and I didn't even put it together that like, yeah, you know, I should make sure that those things can't spawn and surprise me anymore. But yet, I did not do precisely that, which is something I paid the price for. Something I paid the dear price for. And you know what? Hurts a little bit, but what doesn't? Am I right? What doesn't hurt? You know, creepers. A lot of people say like they're the worst part of Minecraft, but like I really do think that like having the negative experience helps you define the positive ones. Like having something negative to avoid sucks when you don't, but when it works, it goes well. A lot of systems in life that seem super crushing and defeating, and you know like it kind of ties into the sequencing and also ties into how the world's been going over the last 3 months or so, right? But you know, there's a lot of things that make people realize the world is not a perfect place. I honestly, it's kind of sad because sometimes, you know, I've had this debate with myself a billion times. Should we teach people that the world is a perfect place, even though it's not? Should we give them hope? You know, like, yeah, this is mostly like a young people thing, right? Like, people who aren't aware fully of how the world works, should we convince them things are okay even when they're not? Because that is a natural human behavior. We try to, you know, like, it's gonna be okay. I mean, you don't know that for sure, but people will still say it regardless of that fact. Also, fun fact, did you know regardless and irregardless both mean the same thing? I bet you didn't, but it's called, I think, like an antonym, but like, it's one that's like been lost, so forward and defawed mean the same thing. Wow, you're learning an English lesson here today with Toy Cat. Even our language is slightly broken and dumb in some ways, but just because it's broken and just because it's got some flaws. Also, outside, you know, we're gonna light that area up as well, because you can see how right here we got an issue. Let's place some torches along this cobble right there. Let's place some torches next to the map right there. We are lighting this place up, and no one can stop me. But oh my god. Yeah, basically, there is this you know, kind of thing I have. This question I have all the time of like, should you tell people things that aren't true to, you know, make them feel better? And it's something I feel like everyone struggles with at some point. Like, because also you can see another charge creeper explosion. We're gonna get round and we're gonna fix this right now too, just because it seems like a pretty good idea to do that. We'll kind of just like patch it up slowly but surely. It'll be fine. But yeah, basically there is this genuine question as to like, you know, what matters more, the way things are or your feelings about the way things are? And you know, like there's a certain, you know, proportion of a lot of people watching this, especially you know, like there's gonna be a lot of people who respond to that by saying like, you know, actually your feelings about how things aren't actually as important as the actual situation itself. Like it doesn't matter if something seems bad if it is okay, you know, like if you feel like there's a lot of murders in your city this year, like a lot of people still think Chicago is the most dangerous US city because I think it has the you know, like it's the one that people use as an example of like, wow, that is the big bad city with all the crimes. But like per capita, there are more dangerous cities in the United States. I don't think it's St. Louis. Maybe it is St. Louis that's the most dangerous, like per capita. But there's like there's a few cities. I think Detroit maybe that come above it. But people, you know, like, but does it matter that you feel that Chicago is dangerous? And the answer is actually kind of yes. Even though it objectively is not as dangerous as another place, if you feel like it is dangerous, you know, saying that like, oh, it's not as dangerous as somewhere else, isn't going to cut it. The fact is that like in the world we have chosen to adopt, the systems we've chosen to adopt, for some reason actually are very heavily feelings based, and as a result, it does kind of matter almost as much as, you know, how something is, how people feel about that thing. An example of this that I still find crazy to this day is like the stock market, which you always assume like when you're young, like because you learn when I was like in 14, I knew about stocks to that point that they went up and down, but I always thought I was missing something. And I tried asking so many times, but what's the real thing that determines the price? And it's like, well, people buying or selling it. But like, if it's just people buying or selling it, why does the news matter? And it's like, well, the news makes people buy it or sell it. And it's like, but why does the news make people buy it or sell it? Because they know other people will. And it's this kind of like endless repeating thing of like, yeah, if people feel bad about something, they'll sell it. If they feel good, they'll buy it. This is why, even though we're in this like crazy world of like, the world has been shut down for like 3-ish months. Not fully shut down, of course, but like significantly reduced capacity in so many different aspects. But despite that fact, if you look at stock markets right now, they had a huge dive in February before this happened, and now they've pretty much rebounded to where they were before, because again, it's not based on how things are, it's based on how people feel about how things are. The things that will actually affect people's lives are, like, I guess, if you die to a big, the economy, I guess, is a big kind of indicator. The longer people have to be locked down, the less economic activity can take place. And given that a lot of our lives are built around and rely on a certain level of economic activity, that's real bad when that happens. Wow, who would have figured that in a global, in a giant economy, you need it to be running for it to, like keep people going, etc. There's there's something that I've been thinking about a lot, is the kind of concept about right now that like we won't dive too much into it because like I guess it's a current issue. People are going to have strong feelings, and that's okay. Have feelings about whatever you want. That's what the point of what I'm saying is here. But something big has happened that has led to a lot of people being like, you know what, I don't mind if we sacrifice some lives for this movement because it's an important one. But the question of like, is that ever a good decision is something I can never come to good grips with, because there are very few like big causes that I'm willing to like throw my life behind. And should you, if someone else is like, I am willing to die for this thing, should you congratulate that? If someone says, I'm willing to kill those in my immediate circle for this thing, is that something to be praised? Like, willing to risk the lives of those around you? I generally don't know the answer, and it's something I've just been thinking about a lot, because current events, especially like in the UK, like whatever. In the US, there's a whole thing going on. I get that. That's a thing I see. But in the UK, there's like this whole movement of people who are doing a thing to show their, like their support, their feelings on a thing at the cost of, in some cases their life, and in some cases it's not, their own lives. It's the people, who are, because like right now, I'm looking to retravel again. We've come to this conclusion in the world that like, okay, the risks are known. They're out there. They're a thing. Of at least the disease itself. That we still don't know the economic impacts and the amount of lives that are going to have been lost already and will be lost over the next 3 months. But something that's kind of like scary to me about the current global situation is like, ooh, we're right now we're taking this big moment where we're saying, okay, now people from every side have found a reason to be like, actually, even though it's not gone away, I feel like it's gone, and that's the biggest part of it. And that again shows the thing that like every country is now changing their policy. Like we said, individuals are doing it on a micro level, but countries, giant organizations of hundreds of millions of people in some cases, are now changing their policies on how things should be. Oh, also spider eye. It's one of the it's the worst food. And we just found it. Heck yeah, because we killed a spider at some point. I think it's the worst food. Actually, I think the worst food might be pufferfish. There's a lot of food that are all in the same tier of like, why would you even ever eat these? And spider eye definitely come down there. Also, I think I might have collected some of the foods earlier. Yeah, I've got a bread in here. I've got an apple in here. I don't know where the other apple went, actually. Is it in here? Yeah, it's in here. So we'll just put the bread and the apple in there. How nice. Look at that. We've got ourselves some duplicates now. So we've now got ourselves 13 items. And that's a pretty good start, but that means we need 27 other pieces of food. So I guess we should start looking around for those. Because now we're going to continue lighting this place up. I want to do the food, I want to do the placing the stuff on the wall, but not until I'm sure that every corner is properly lit, or at least looks properly lit. Because for some reason stuff is just spawning everywhere all the time. And it's very frustrating. I don't know if that's coming through with my frustration with the creepers. But it sure is a crazy thing. So let's now remove these torches. Actually, we kind of want to keep the torches there. Maybe we could place like a slab on top of them. Yeah, if we place the torches down a block and we place a half slab here. Yeah, if we just half slab above all of this, then the whole room will look slightly better. I don't know if that's true, but let's roll with it anyway. And that way the torches light from underneath will still light up above. Again, because half slabs can transmit light or something. Don't ask me why, I just know that it's a thing. Same with stairs, actually, even though stairs have no, like, gap for light because they count as a partial block. You know what? Fun fact of Toy Cat. Just dropping them all over the place today. But, so yeah, something I've been thinking about a lot this last week is that, like, we've finally reached a moment where, you know, like, I think we've, like, enough people have admitted, like, you know what? The way you feel about a thing is, like, it's kind of, like, you know, it's something that, like, I guess it should be the big national question. Like, not national question, the big debate that we're kind of having as a species all the time. Because we are moving into a much more, we're moving into a world that makes less direct sense, you know? Like, when you, if you used to make, you know, if you work on a farm, you produce apples. You give 1 million apples to a dude, and he gives you $1 million, and then you spend 600,000 on a tractor, and I don't know how farms works, but that sounds about right, okay? But now, you know, like, you just, you know, you sold a thing, someone got physical nourishment from that. But we live in this, like, more and more complex world, but, like, the biggest things that you need in your life and are not your biggest, like, okay, first of all, most people work jobs that are, like, vaguely confusing. Like, you know, I'm the, you know, like, you know, job titles are getting longer and less specific because, you know, the job title is seen as part of your status. And therefore, like, what does someone do? No one really knows. What is a head of, you know, team recruitment? You know, that sounds like, you know, HR, but under a different name. What is the, you know, the vice president of consumer experience? It's like, that sounds like someone who does something important. The, you know, the complication of the world means that, like, fewer people are understanding precisely every detail of what's going on. And given that, like, the best view you have on certain things is always going to be through the lens of the media. Because something else we've seen, you know, like, you know, the world is getting more complex. People don't know precisely what's happening at any given point in time. And you can't humanly know everything, even though we you know, you might want to know everything that's happening, but you just cannot. That is not an ability we have anymore as people. So, you know, like, you don't, the world's getting more complex. It's hard to know exactly what is happening in that more complex world. And at the same time, this is the most interesting one to me. The role of, like, the parent or the guardian or the teacher, even maybe, is kind of being replaced by the internet and the media. And that sounds super dumb. And, you know, like, maybe it is just super dumb. But it is slowly happening. Like, yeah, you know, like, you used to have, like, a village elder or someone who would tell you tales that would be, like, why, you know, like, they seem like they're stories from the past, but really they're, like, you know, lessons for the present. The boy who cried wolf, there probably wasn't a boy who cried wolf a bunch of times and people came over and thought, oh, you know, that was meant to be a story about how if you lie enough times, people will stop trusting you. A valuable lesson, by the way, because if you do lie enough times, people will, in fact, stop trusting you. Did you know that that's not made up? That is, in fact, a true thing that people say. But, yeah, you know, I guess we're going to have, like, a big stack of items in both of these. So this is, like, 7, 13, 19. And then we'll have, like, an okay foods here, which gets us up to 25. And then we'll have, actually, maybe this should be okay and this should be the worst. Don't ask me why it's back there. I need to destroy some more blocks. And then if that brings us up to 25, that means we need 15 slots over here, which we can do with 3 rows of 5 or 2 rows of 7, which we conveniently have, plus 1, which, you know, we can work on the preciseness of that later. But yeah, look at that. We just replace a item frame. Like, actually, not. Maybe we should have, like, we might need more for another category around here. But let's just assume right now that's that. And now this is every single food item in Minecraft, neatly sorted into 5 categories, all that should be visible from the same spot. I might have to, like, trim this down another block, but besides that, everything is visible in this one. And maybe we remove, like, this pillar entirely too. But, and also that. But now we've got all the item frames placed down, and we've also got all the torches, I think at the very least. But yeah, the role which used to exist in the world for someone who was like, you know, like, again, let's call it the village elder, even though You know, realistically, even like 200 years ago, most people didn't live in a village where there'd be an old man. But it's a simple, you know, it's an archetypal concept everyone understands. So, you know, everyone used to have the village elder, you know, the person who knew the things, and when you needed to know wise information, you spoke to the person who knew the things, and you asked them for their information. It was a very simple, although ugly complex when I say it that way, kind of system. But as a result of that kind of like fading out and like the idea of like someone in your life who you knew personally who you could ask for advice, the cool thing about the internet is it brings people together with more sorts of people that they can connect and relate with on some you know, level, which is great for the most part. I think we probably have to light up these blocks too. I'm not too sure, but it's great for the most part that like, yeah, if you want to watch this British man who really enjoys Minecraft projects slowly work on one and go insane as he does so, wow, you can now do that from the comfort of your own home. But one of the other things that it's done, I'd say this has been going on since like the 1970s. There's something out there called mean world syndrome, where the world is perceived to be getting worse and worse every single, you know, like people think the world is a worse place than it is. And the simplest explanation as to why is because that role, you know, the idea of someone who knew things, who could tell you those things, has been supplanted by the internet. I mean, obviously, if you need to know the answer to a question, do you ask an old person or do you go to the internet? Be honest with me here, friends. Do you go to the library or do you type in for a YouTube tutorial? Which is it? Give me your honest answer. Wow, you go to the library. That is a shock, and that is definitely what all of you are definitely saying. No, you now use you know, the internet, or you use some form of media, and you know, the media thing by itself was like, okay, yeah, it's the media. It's a bubble that exists by itself. But as the media has become more and more about trying to express and throw some point out there, and also at the exact same time as that's been happening, you know, everyone's ability to contribute to it. You know, most of what the media, air quotes, you know, like the news, let's say, gets their stuff from, they don't get it from people like deciding to, you know, contribute their, you know, like it's not like reporters going out and getting clips. Most of the most shocking thing you'll see on the news is because someone pulled out their camera phone and showed something off. There was a very big thing that happened this week. I'm sure you missed it in the same way you missed the big pandemic that's been happening the last 3 months. But that is an event that I'll be honest with you right here. I would not have believed that another human could do that to another human, regardless of the dynamic, even if they hated each other. Unless it was like, you'd have to give me some super long backstory about why, and even then I'd be like, under some circumstances, maybe a human being could do that. Watching a video of someone, you know, slowly, you know, like choking someone, you know, like not even choking someone, like literally, you know, snuffing life out of someone over the course of like, what is it, like 9.5 minutes? You know, doing that to someone for like 30 seconds, it's like, okay, you know, someone somewhere making a mistake, not knowing the full force of the impact they're doing. But like after some amount of time, it's like, how does someone do that? You don't believe it, but you've seen it, and now you know it's a thing that's possible. And then the question is like, well, this is the one place I've seen it. How much more common is it? And that's a question I genuinely don't know the answer to, right? Like, how often is that happening? You know, my instinct, my belief in humanity is that like, you know, you know, that is probably that. You know, we can say for sure that it's definitely not the only one time it's ever happened, and we can say for sure that it's not every single police officer in every single country is literally killing people over minor crimes every day. We can say both of those things aren't true. Is the poisonous potato food? I guess it technically is. I don't like that it is, but it technically is food. Let's go find some beetroots and some sweet berries, shall we? Those are important foods too. But like, there are things that just sound unbelievable, and then when you see them in real life, you realize that no, this is a thing that has happened. And like, that not only is that like a terrifying moment for like, you know, makes you realize that, you know, that something that should be unthinkable has happened at least, you know, one time, and potentially more, because, you know, this is a recent phenomenon. But, you know, then when you combine that with the reports that you see from your online people, from the media, from this, you know, this world where people are sharing information, but whoever shares the most negative information, the most reactionary stuff, their posts get shared more. If you share a post being like, hey, it turns out this thing, you know, because here's an example. Everyone, you might have seen this tweet, in fact. It got literally hundreds of thousands of, you know, likes, and I want to say in the tens of thousands of retweets. People shared this with their followers, like making jokes about it and being like, oh yeah, this shows how dumb a thing is. There was this tweet of like I think it's the New York police commissioner. I don't understand how police and government properly works in America. I know it's very localized, so every system is different. But what there's this this guy who's in charge or something, and he's got this thing of like, oh yeah, what we're going to be doing as a sign for people lost during COVID is we're going to be covering up part of the badge, and everyone's like, wow, that's where the badge number should be. And just without assuming any more, everyone's like, yeah, they're hiding their badge numbers from us. But like, one, the post that people were sharing was from like, I think it was April of this year, so like long before craziness started. And two, it was like, if you look at it without the thing, that's not where the badge number goes. People think a badge number is always like, every single badge in the world has a badge number on it. Basically what I'm trying to say is like, anyone trying to correct that information, no one cares about, no one shares that because it's not incendiary. When you have information that is incendiary, that makes people angry or upset, and there is a lot of information that does make people angry, upset. It's not that it's fake information, it's that it's being shared so much more than before. And because of that, because all of these things that were previously niche scenarios that would never happen to anyone you knew, or, it never happened to anyone in your circle or something like that. Because of that, now, the world is seen as a much more violent, dangerous place. When you see something happen once, you assume that's how it is all the time. When you, people... Here's an example. I don't know, like, let's use current situation again that everyone's vaguely familiar with. When people saw what was happening in Italy, everyone's like, wow, that is everyone there. And it's like, in reality, for people in southern Italy, at least for the first, like, few weeks of the craziness, right? It was just normal time. There was no real, difference in issue or whatever. It was just normal life, except the thing was happening somewhere else in your country of, by the way, like 40 million people. And the same thing is kind of true right here. Like especially like in a country as big as America, there's how many, like every city has its own police department, right? I know Disneyland also has its own police department. Is the Disneyland police just as bad as the ones the people who snuffed someone's life out for over like the minorest of crimes, like? But I think it's like suspected forgery or something, right? Like suspected fraud. Is that happening in Disneyland? Is it happening in every town? It's not. There is a huge systemic collection of things that are all very different to each other, and people judge them all as the same. And it hurts me because this idea of like judging all of one group of people as the same thing is where a lot of like very racist policies come from, right? Like a lot of people who just assume that based on something about you, like the most minor of details sometimes, like your country of origin, your skin color, your religion, like taking these details and assuming you are a bad person because of those, that is, like a thing we spend a lot of time trying to avoid in the world. But at the same time, people use the media as justification for hating all of any other group. I don't want to say police officers because like I'm not a big fan of like authority structures that tell you what to do. In my experience in my life, I've only ever been hindered by police, never helped by them. Like, when my stuff is stolen, and as has happened twice, the first time the police were like, oh, we don't go there, that's not an area, we think it's too dangerous, and it's like, you're the police, that's, how is there an area too dangerous? The second time, I got directed to this line where there was like a woman on Excel who was just like typing in my crime details. It's like, this isn't the most reassuring thing. I got really distracted, I felt like. I was going, and that's what happens when I start talking, apparently. I'm just patching up holes in my world at this point. I guess I'm slowly getting rid of the dirt, which I need to do anyway, and making the world a better place for when all of you are able to hopefully download it in some number of months. Because we're only a month away from that marketplace thing, huh? But no, so to stay on topic, as I am very good at doing, the honest, like taking a group of people and grouping them as one thing is something we see more and more of, and that is a thing I think we need to avoid. Like generalizations. Looking at the world and realizing we're 7 billion humans that are getting more and more, diverse as a group. Like, the first 2 humans, the first one we ever discovered, Lucy in Africa, was very similar to her partner. It is very likely, right? The difference between humans has been pretty slim for most of history. We are getting much more diverse now. And by that, I don't mean like, like the thing that's getting more diverse, it does probably include the colorings and the things we get inside of us, but way more importantly than that, like our brains are becoming more diverse. A lot of people don't realize that, like, if you want to have diverse thought, if you want to make the argument for why that's a good thing, as I would probably make a good argument, you need to realize that opinion diversity is really important too. Like, having people who think differently towards you, and people who do different things towards you, is important to have a functioning society. When you have a world that is so complex, when you have a world where the vice president of customer, there is a genuine employee, like a person who did an announcement, right? I think it was the vice president of the customer experience. That is a genuine job title I've heard. When that is a job title you can have, a job title that's needed, without that, what would happen to the customer experience if the regular president wasn't there? You know, that sounds dumb, but is vaguely a real thing. I need some non-pop chorus fruits, I feel like. You know, like, when you hear about all of the foods you need in Minecraft, it's really easy to picture them. But, like, actually collecting them all together is a surprisingly hard task. Like, I guess because I'm collecting them from around my world. Maybe instead we should just go to, like, my beetroot farm. Let's go over there, and let's bring some gold so we can make a golden apple and a golden carrot. Yeah, we'll just grab a second carrot, and then we'll also grab 8 gold to make a golden apple. Is that how you make it? Honestly, they might not even be craftable anymore. I'm at the stage where I just don't know things at this point, and that's okay. Not knowing things should be okay. Not being the expert in every issue that you ever encounter should be this, like, acceptable, this like sign of honor, like this admission of a thing. But right now, instead, there is now a moment where when you hear a thing, when you see a thing somewhere, and someone says you have to do X, otherwise you are Y, as you'll see a lot over the world, I find that to be troubling. I find the idea that we are trying to wipe out thought diversity as being not a good thing. Because there are some thoughts that are objectively bad ideas, right? Like I said, like, I don't think even like in the past, you know, like, you know, the tiniest benefit could be had to, I guess, xenophobia, where, like, oh yeah, when you're in a village, you know, when you're in a tiny little village and someone from another village comes over, you shouldn't, you know, kind of like how some cats get super friendly with strangers. That's not a good idea, because what if a dangerous stranger comes by? In the same way, you should be like cats, you know, cautious of strangers until you know them. If they're from somewhere you don't know of, maybe you can, you know, that, like, a long time ago there was maybe some benefits. Now it's a bad idea. Now it's an idea we should throw away. We should discard of, right? But at the same time, if it's one that keeps popping up regardless, maybe you should look at the why on that. You know, if this thing continuously happens, rather than, you know, like, basically what I'm trying to say is that we, to make the world function the way that it probably should, you need to have a lot of, also we got ourselves a pufferfish. I'm running out of inventory slots, but I do have myself a pufferfish, so I got that going for me. Okay, let's throw the eggs in there too, and now we got some more spots for, because how do you even make beetroot soup? I wanna say it's like a bowl, and then the beetroot somewhere, and then how does that become beetroot? Is it 5 beetroot? It is 6 bit. What is this recipe? You know, this, whatever. You know, we'll roll with it. But I just want to be on record as saying, not the biggest fan of the recipe for beetroot soup. Think it's a little bit dumb. But you know, what isn't a little bit dumb these days? Am I right? But to avoid going too far off, because I don't know, like I never like to dive too much into, like, any particular issue at a time, because people get really charged about it, and you know, I don't want to dive between you and the opinion that you are charged to have, because, you know, again, it makes sense as to why people feel strongly about, especially, again, given the way things have been, you know, in the last 3 to 5 to, you know, like, 12 months, I can understand why people are super emotional and, you know, have strong feelings about things. And that's why I guess the kind of, like, change I've had is, like, you know, rather than just being like, you know, the looking at statistics for things it's just not a thing that some people are going to do. That's fine. That's a fact of matter. But I think the thing that is important is to realize that no generalization can ever cover everyone. Never can you say for certain, for instance, you know, like, I used to think that all humans were good, except, you know what, I have learned with irrefutable proof many times in video form that it's not true, and even you know, that sucks. But, like, you know, like, some humans aren't just a little bad, they're actually really bad. Wow, that's an interesting little you know, thing right there. I learned that yeah, but I think realizing that there's an exception to everything, learning that one blanket umbrella term can never cover everything and everyone. I think that single step is something that can really help you. Also, we now have 26 of 40 Minecraft foods. It's shocking that even after all of this, it's like, which ones are we missing? So I guess we'll start placing them down so we can start to like really realize that, I guess. So steak and cooked pork chop are both S tier foods, so they're going to go away at the front. And yeah, like I guess we'll work it in that way. Like so, cooked pork chop and steak go on one side, and then rabbit stew and suspicious stew. Okay, we're missing both of those. We're not missing the golden carrots. We can slide that in right over here. I'd say on the left should go the golden apple, and on the right should go the golden carrot. Seems pretty good to me. And then on the right here, we're gonna have like the pretty good foods. I mean, like the cooked chickens off the, you know, let's just move this around. The cooked pork chops. Actually, wait, that's a S tier food. So the cooked mutton of the world, yeah. The cooked, chicken. It's good. If you don't have an alternative, give it a whirl, you know. These are solid enough foods. Even cooked salmon. Do we have any cooked salmon or just raw salmon? These are foods that are going to be like, you know, these are good. They are recommendable, in fact. Actually, wait, let's lean it over. No, okay, so we'll have this be here alongside this. We'll have some, like, again, some cooked salmon in there and maybe, like, some cooked rabbit. Oh, good, I have to go find some rabbits to kill. Well, and then that's the thing. And then what we'll have is the little kind of garbage corner right here, where our food types like spider eyes. Why is this a thing? The poisonous potato and the puffish. These are all the bottom tier for this, I would say. Like, they're not even really food. You eat them and you get more downside than you get upside. How can you count that as anything? And then we'll also have like the raw potato. It's so bad. It's basically poison. We'll have I want to say the beetroot gives the, I think dry kelp is actually a little bit worse. And then maybe the rotten flesh as well. Like the rotten flesh gives food, but the downside is too high. Dry kelp, it's slightly faster to eat, but is otherwise garbage. And the potato is just full on garbage. Then over here in the acceptable pile is where we'll try and slide like everything else that I can think of. Like, you know, cake, beetroot soup, baked potatoes. They're like, okay. Actually, no, baked potato is going to go in the section of like, oh yeah, these are good foods to use in the situation where you just haven't got one of the better options yet. Whereas cake, like, it's got a very niche use, yes, but most of the time, not a good food. Raw chicken and raw beef and beetroot soup, you know, like, they're all acceptable foods, but like, you know, like, are they great foods or are they foods that you're using because you have no other choice? Let's be honest, it's the latter, not the former. Bread is going to go in the same category. Not even carrots, actually. Carrots might have to go in garbage tier. Cookies, they do stack, but otherwise I'm not sure I can compliment them too highly. So, actually, let's remove this from there. And we'll put the soups next to each other up here. Because, you know what? Soups are fun. Everyone loves a good bowl of soup. You know, maybe mushroom stew might even go in one of the better tiers. We can work that out as we go along. And then bread goes there. And raw salmon and raw cod and tropical fish also, I guess, are going to go up here. So, clown, raw salmon, raw cod. Again, they're acceptable enough, I guess, technically speaking, in that niche situation. Same with, like, you know, apples and melons. Yeah, I mean, if you have nothing else but apples to eat, I guess they'll do the job for you. And then, yeah, I guess cookies might have to go in the garbage pile. We'll work for that one out later. And then in the kind of, like, good... Actually, wait. Is melon... I think we got this bit confused midway through. I think bread and melon are both in the... Yeah, okay, then. Guess you need some food right now pile. Whereas these are all foods that are like, don't be eating these. Do something else. Like, single stacked items. Who are you? What do you need that for? So yeah, now we've got all of the foods placed besides cookies, beetroots, and carrots. And we need to find the other 13 foods, most of which we can just cook the fish. Like, there's 2 cooked fish, so that's... Oh, that's 2. That's not most at all. We need honey, we need the berry bush, and then we need both types of rabbit, or 3 types of rabbit. So that's like 6. We'll work out what we're missing after that. So my plan for finding a rabbit is to go to the desert, because I remember the last time I was in a desert, I was very annoyed by a rabbit that I saw. I also remember I saw one in the last snow biome I went to, so one of those 2 places we'll find a rabbit in. That just seems like a fact, right? Also, I've been through here to destroy it just to get some... Oh, there's some leather. Nope, that's... Don't know why. I guess a cow died and I didn't pick up the leather part. But yeah, oh, there we go. See, my theory is correct. Just remember the last place you think you saw one, go after it. kill it with a good old fire aspect sword, and there is no raw cooked rabbit for us. This might be a long night, huh? Long night of looking for rabbits to kill. Let's just hope there's also some cod in this chest. You better believe there is. And let's also cook that up. Wait, I thought I saw cod. I saw pufferfish, tropical fish, and salmon, and was like, oh, there must also be other things. But I guess I'm wrong. You know what they say about assuming, right? Oh, we found a rabbit at the very least after another pillager raid for the day. Again, every episode we get one, and sometimes we get two. Some would say that means there are too many pillager raids spawning, but I would say that that's a good thing. I think somewhere in my recycled Nether Fortress I have a bed. I could be wrong. Let's see if I'm right. Well, I might have to sleep inside of some fences, but otherwise, it's a pretty nice little place to snop. And now we go back on the bunny hunt. Never thought, you see, this is the example I was talking about. Like, if you want to complete something, there's always one little weird process you have to go through. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to be overcome. It's like your own personal hero's journey, you know? You think you can do something, you realize you can't, then you realize that you just got to put some effort in, and then you totally can, and then you do the thing. And that's where I hope to arrive at soon. For real though, why are rabbits such a rare spawn? How did I find two and not a single one after a much more time? Those words made sense. If you'd like to see more words, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on, where I can say great things that show that I am definitely a capable and smart individual. And you know what? Dumb people like me need to have their opinions represented too. Because if you don't represent dumb people, you don't represent everyone. And maybe that's okay. But you just gotta admit you're doing what you're doing, I guess, is what I'm saying. And if you admit what you're doing is what you're doing, then you'll probably be in a better place. I've searched everywhere I can in my world, and all I found is a rabbit's foot, but no rabbit meat. I don't know why I haven't kept any of that anywhere around here. I have so many chests just filled with garbage that I pick up and then hide away. But apparently, I've never killed a rabbit and decided, you know, one day I'll want this raw rabbit meat or cooked rabbit meat, because apparently not anywhere can I find it. And that is kind of interesting to me, actually. A reminder of why you should bring more than you think you need. Although I do remember that in this chest, we do keep some sweet berries from the 1.14 update. Minecraft's newest food. Actually, I guess the Buzzy Bees update of the honey would be the newest food. So we just need now honey and a golden apple, which, I mean, we have some in here from the Wither fight time. Honey, yeah, not even a golden apple, just honey and the rabbit variants now. And a pumpkin pie. But you can trade with villagers for pumpkin pie. And also I made some a long time ago. Did I eat the pumpkin pie that I made? Damn it, I did. I guess I'm gonna have to go and find some. And we'll go look for rabbits at the same time. Okay, I traveled literally 2,400 blocks, as you can see by my coordinates, but here we finally have some rabbits. We just have to get rid of this guy somehow. And you know what? This is the reason I don't have rabbits in my world. It's a lot of effort, and all you get is rabbit leather and rabbit food. Rabbit food is not even the best meat, not even close, and rabbit leather is just a worse version of regular leather. I think that's a baby. I could be wrong, so let's instead go for the other adult that came after me. It's over here somewhere. This is a miserable process. Who is on board of this? Oh my god. They are not meant to be killed. Rabbits do not give off an easy killing vibe. Oh, but there we go. We got our first cooked rabbit. Now we just need some raw rabbit too. Or maybe we need 2 cooked rabbits so we can make ourselves a bowl of stew from it. I think that uses cooked rabbit. I'm not too sure actually though. Let's kill a rabbit and let's find out. Again, I'm not sure if this is a baby because they're all so tiny that it's hard to work it out for sure. My god, what? You know, I'm literally chasing rabbits around today. That is my daytime activity. And that probably was a baby, right? My bad. I slayed a baby rabbit because it's too hard to tell the difference, damn it. Like, is this a baby rabbit? Probably. I'll leave him be. Let him grow up before I kill him. Okay, we're gonna kill this one with an axe just so we can try and get the raw stuff now. Pro tip, don't try killing rabbits. This is why you might need a rabbit farm perhaps. Hey, we got some raw rabbit now, which means we're just missing one more food, I think, to have all of them. We just need some rabbit stew, which I don't actually know what it's made from. I think it's mushroom, rabbit, and then there's something else in there. Side note, but also in the woods here, for some reason, I just have A snow fox and a boat. I think I was trying to collect all the mobs, and just trying to get this snow fox to go anywhere was such a frustrating process that I just said, nope, I give up. So, we could get back to that sometime. You know what, see? The museum has many little projects in it. One of those projects was all of the rare mobs, and apparently the snow fox is where I drew the line and said, nah, can't go any further. There we go. We got our second piece of cooked rabbit. We just gotta combine that with a bunch of foodie ingredients, and we get rabbit stew. And I think we finally have every food plate. You know what? Can someone try and make rabbit stew, but in real life using these same ingredients, and tell me how it turns out? I'd love to know. Is it actually a good thing, or is it just like, yes, this is technically a stew? Either way, this is one of the high quality, food items in Minecraft we needed, and I think it is the last food item we need, but we'll find that out when we get there and realize we've made a mistake. Okay, so this section right here is now complete. We're just missing suspicious stew from this section. Over here, we need to throw in all of the other, oh yeah, this is good enough. It will do, I guess. Although I think raw rabbit was not going to go there. Instead, raw rabbit is definitely an over here type of food. Same with chorus fruit. Like, it does the job, but it teleports you around, which is really good if you want to be teleported around, but really bad if you just want to eat, you know? So, what else are we going to have to throw down? I guess beetroot is going to fall in this same category of, like, it will technically not hurt you too much. Yeah, I mean, it is technically edible. Although it feels like a weird double standard for potatoes to be there and for beetroot to be there because they're, like, similar. Not quite perfectly the same, but similar. Cookies are definitely a low quality. Not the worst because you can stack them, you can make them easy. They've got, like, a fun factor to them. And then finally, the last item for this one, I guess is the carrot, right? I think it's got to be the carrot. You know, yeah, the carrot's okay. Actually, you know, the carrot might have to go in the, I guess it's acceptable because it's easy to get kind of category, so we'll throw one over there too. Because, you know what, I guess it is acceptable because it is kind of easy to get. And the apple is already out there, so we don't need to throw that back in there. Which means we're missing at least 1, 2 items. And 3. So suspicious stew is 1. And the other 2 that we're missing, you know, this is a really fun process in something when you think you've got everything, but also you can see that you don't. So let's try and find out what that is. Okay, honestly, I need to know how this is, that mobs are still spawning in here. Is it like on the dinosaur, underneath the dinosaur? I want to know, because it's not making any sense to me. But yeah, every time we walk through here, there's different mobs, and if there's different mobs, eventually there'll be a creeper that will cause another explosion, and I don't want to really deal with that one personally. So, just in case you were wondering, as best I can think about, So in case you were wondering, the last food that I could tell that I was missing was the raw pork chop. I have the raw of every other type of food, but I didn't have the raw pork chop for whatever reason, so now we've got one of those. And then we've got suspicious stew, and then I'm just hoping there's a counting error, because I literally cannot work out what else I am missing. But I think we've collected every food in Minecraft. Because fun fact, in my museum, it doesn't make any sense for it to be here, besides because it's a rare mob, but in my museum is where I keep my brown mushrooms, a kind of rare mob, and also where I keep my suspicious stew, which if you use dandelions to make, is officially the best food in Minecraft. Fun fact, maybe you didn't know that. Because if you give one of these guys a dandelion, which I think you can just do normally, yep. And then you milk said dude using a bowl of mushroom stew. Actually, can it be an empty bowl? I think it can be an empty bowl, right? If we use an empty bowl for this, then what we can actually do is we can make some suspicious stew, I think. Nope, we got some regular things out of that. Or I picked on the wrong cow. Honestly, it's been a long time since I made suspicious stew. Let's make it right. Okay, I thought I was an idiot for getting it wrong, but it turns out that I was correct about you just gotta feed a brown mushroom a piece of food, and then you gotta milk it. Although apparently I milked the wrong one, so nope, still getting this. Oh no, we got a suspicious stew. Right, you get 1 suspicious stew per mushroom milk. Anyway, so this right here, if you do put a dandelion, a yellow flower, whatever you want to call it, if you put in one of these for your suspicious stew, it is the best food item in the game in terms of saturation, because not only do you get the saturation of a stew, but you also get the bonus of the saturation effect. You know, I'll show you next time we do this, but that is the best food over there that we missed. Then we need to throw in a little, raw pork chop over here. I guess we'll replace the apple. Actually, not the chorus fruit is a bit of a weird one. So place the apple up the edge, place the pork chop over there, and place that up there as the weird, like, what is this even doing food? And now I think I have every food, but I have one slot too many. So either I am missing a food, or I'm missing, or I just have one too many item frame slots. Let's work out which of those two it is. Okay, I finally found what the 40th item, the food item that I was missing was. It was the sweet berries. They were in my inventory, I just didn't see them. I'm a little bit of an idiot in that way. So, yeah, I guess the sweet berries, you know, logically speaking, they should fit the last slot there. But I think if we put sweet berries over there, that means that I think, honestly, we'd have to trade sweet berries for, like, you know what, actually, eating raw, you know, eating, like, mushroom stew, if you have a mushroom around you, might be a better decision than eating sweet berries. So I'm gonna switch them just on that basis. Because beetroot soup, like, you know what, that sucks regardless. It doesn't stack, and you need to bring a lot of it with you. But mushroom stew just requires a bowl and a mushroom. It's a tricky combo to pull off, I'll admit. But I think it's, like, technically one of these 6 foods. And as a result, we have now categorized Minecraft food into 5 categories. God tier, good tier, okay, you know, acceptable tier, unacceptable, go find some better food source tier, and you know what, you can eat these, but like, don't, tier. Although, you know, even then, the dried kelp does have the nice benefit of eating faster than other foods, and the potato, you know, sucks, but like, I really feel like actually these might not be the perfect, oh god, you know, I've decided that my inconsistent method is better than having to break one of these with my fist. So yeah, now we just gotta remove this and recarpet the area. Okay, as you can see, we now officially have every single food in Minecraft in a nice little gallery. It's an accomplishment that I can add to my little list of like things I've done that obviously no one's gonna be impressed by. No one watching this video is like, yeah, that's awesome, Toycat, you go. You, or hopefully someone is, but you know, for the reality, working on accomplishments is not something you need to do for the whole world to enjoy and like tap you on the back for, but instead it can just be something that you do because hey, the reality is when you're you know, Minecraft, you know, like achievements, any achievements can always be dumbed down as pointless, but doing something that you think is a fun journey along the way, something which has an outcome which can show that off, is something you need to do at some point in your life. Having accomplishments to show, having something you feel like you've done in the past is something that can help motivate people towards the future, and maybe that includes all of you. So thank you very much for watching this video. One thing I actually do want to do before we finish today is I'm going to break one of the very few rules, one of the, I guess, unwritten rules of this Minecraft world, because, hey, you know what? There's only one achievement I'm actually lacking prior to the Never update, where they'll no doubt add more achievements, and that is the one, if I'm not mistaken, for giving, oh, getting the achievements is harder now, you know, as you can see, I've got 106 of 107 achievements, every single achievement in here, besides, as you can see all the way at the bottom, the last achievement, because I think these are a fun thing to collect if you want to work on accomplishments, giving someone suspicious stew. And obviously I could just use a different world, but today it's going to be a rare, exclusive moment. The first time, I think, since the world updated to Bedrock that someone has been in here. And obviously, we're going to stay within the rules that I usually stick by. Like, they're not going to help me out. This is a solo survival world. But I am going to invite someone in the game, and then I'm going to kill them for their map, and then I'm going to give them suspicious stew. Wait, I'll give them suspicious stew, kill them for their map, and then kick them from the game. Because that is a polite thing to do with strangers. Aha! We have someone joining the world. I see them in the top right, but I don't see them in the world yet. They're down there for some reason. I guess the world spawn must have changed since Bedrock. Literally, it's been this long since someone's joined that I don't know where they spawn into the world. Also, why do they spawn below this? Whatever. Anyway, look at this. This is rare footage of someone entering the Let's Play world and me giving them a bowl of suspicious stew before admitting that, you know what, actually, don't really need that after all. And now, oh god, now I should get my bowl back, I think. Wait, what? What is any of that? Where's my bowl of suspicious stew? Why didn't he drop it when he... Okay, well, you know what, we found a bug today. I would go and kill him again, but... You know, where is it? I'm gonna... I'm so confused. Where did my bowl go? But yeah, this was the rare 30 seconds where someone joined the world, because it's a requirement to get the achievements, which are one of my favorite little tasks to do inside of Minecraft that we've now done until the Nether update. I'm really looking forward to the Nether update because of the number of things we can work on and try and do, but that is a story for another day, just like how this is a video for another. You know, I really want to know, like, does he have it on him still? It doesn't make sense because there's no keep inventory, just to show you in case you're suspicious, like, you know what, Toy Cat, this is clearly a sign it's all cheats. As you can see right here, we don't have keep inventory on because that would be a cheat. But yeah, he did not drop either his map or his suspicious stew when he died. And I can't imagine that. Like, you saw the thing burning, but what was that? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, because I'll see you all in the next one. This was like 3.5 hours. You know, just a reminder, even the small projects can take a while sometimes. Anyway, goodbye.